Microsoft Corporation is one of the best known software companies in the world. They may be most known for their Windows operating software and their Microsoft Office productivity suite. They created the video game console Xbox. They purchased Skype only to later sunset it. They currently own business and employment-oriented social media networking site LinkedIn. Co-founders Bill Gates and Paul Allen even went on to become billionaires. And Bill Gates held the title of richest person on the planet from 1997 to 2007, and again in 2009, and then again from 2014 through 2017. Microsoft's mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And their focus is on 4 commitments: expanding economic opportunity and growth for all, creating a safe, secure, and responsible digital world, supporting and advancing people's fundamental rights, and meeting their own climate goals and enabling others to do the same. In 1975, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, former school friends turned business associates started Microsoft. Their first mission was to develop software for the Altair 8800, an early personal computer. The Microsoft name comes from shortening and merging the words microprocessors and software. In 1978, Microsoft opened their first international sales office in Japan. Fiscal year sales exceeded $1 million for the first time. In 1980, the duo landed the opportunity to create the operating system for IBM's first personal computer. On June 25, 1981, Microsoft reorganized into a privately held corporation. Bill Gates was the president and chairman of the board, and Paul Allen was the executive vice president. Microsoft evolved into Microsoft Inc. and was incorporated as a business in Washington state. On August 12, 1981, IBM introduces its first personal computer, PC, and MS-DOS 1.0, plus BASIC and COBOL and other Microsoft products. Microsoft has now officially entered the operating system business. In the 1981 calendar year, headcount was at 129 people. Year-end sales for the year were at $17,331,000. In 1985, Windows was released by Microsoft. In 1986, they moved their headquarters to Redmond, Washington. By the late 1980s, Microsoft was the world's largest personal computer software company. In 1989, Microsoft partnered with Sybase and Ashton Tatenow to create a multi-user relational database engine using structured query language. Today, 98 out of the 100 Fortune 100 companies use SQL Server. Also in 1989, Steve Ballmer is promoted to Senior Vice President, and the first version of Office is released for the Macintosh. On January 13, 2000, Steve Ballmer became Microsoft's second CEO. Bill Gates transitioned from CEO to Chief Software Architect. He held that role until 2008. Ballmer's predecessor, Bill Gates, hired him in 1980 as the company's first business manager. Not too long after that, Steve helped land a major deal with IBM to bring them the operating system for their computers. Ballmer helped increase the organization's bottom line, oversaw the launch of the original Xbox, the launch of Windows Azure, and invested in the cloud. In 2014, Gates stopped serving as chairman of the board, but he did transition into a new role as technology advisor. On February 4th, 2014, Steve Ballmer retired from Microsoft. He was succeeded as CEO by Satya Nadella. Bill Gates resigned from the board in 2020. Now we have a press release from 2016 that says, Microsoft Corp and LinkedIn Corp on Monday announced that they have entered into a definitive agreement under which Microsoft will acquire LinkedIn for $196 per share in an all-cash transaction valued at $26.2 billion, inclusive of LinkedIn's net cash. LinkedIn will retain its distinct brand, culture, and independence. Jeff Weiner will remain CEO of LinkedIn, reporting to Satya Nadella. CEO of Microsoft. Reid Hoffman, chairman of the board, co-founder and controlling shareholder of LinkedIn, and Wiener both fully support this transaction. The transaction is expected to close this calendar year. Per Reuters in June 2023, most acquisitions of other companies often get worse or even fail, but connecting business networking with Microsoft Office and other software is a recipe for success. LinkedIn's target demographic, 30 to 39-year-olds, should continue to stay loyal to the platform. It shouldn't be greatly affected by fads, and most users have their full names attached to their profiles. AI advances that lead to the reduction of recruitment staffing led to growth in the division's profits. In June 30th, 2022, LinkedIn accounted for almost 7% of Microsoft's overall revenue. Statista looked at the market share from leading computer, desktop, laptop, console, operating systems from January 2012 to February 2024. Microsoft Windows remained the most used computer operating software in the world at a percentage of 68.15% of the desktop, tablet, and console operating systems market share. The second most popular is Apple's Mac OS. iOS, which is installed on all Apple iPads, is third. Here we have a chart from Statista. It shows the worldwide market share for cloud infrastructure providers in the fourth quarter of 2024. Azure came in second at 21% to Amazon Web Services lead at 30%. Azure, which was mentioned earlier, was launched in 2008 as Windows Azure. This was Microsoft's entry into cloud computing. This service was made generally available in 2010 and was later renamed to Microsoft Azure. The realm of online productivity suites has been dominated by two options, Google Workspace and Microsoft 365. At the beginning of 2025, Google Workspace, the rebranding of G Suite, had a 45% market share. Microsoft 365 is the evolved form of Microsoft Office. No longer can you buy a genuine copy of the latest version of Microsoft Office on a CD. Now, Office is offered via an online subscription. Microsoft 365 is a cloud-based productivity platform that includes apps such as Microsoft Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and OneDrive, and more. And as of January 15th, 2025, the rollout has begun to rename Microsoft 365 Office app to be Microsoft 365 Copilot app for web, mobile, iOS and Android, and Windows. So as of the beginning of 2025, Microsoft's productivity suite offering held a 29% market share. Microsoft went public on March 13th, 1986. With a $21 offering price, which increased to $35.50 before the end of the day. Here we have a graph created by Visual Capitalist. It is from fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. It shows Microsoft's revenue was $245 billion, which was up 16% year over year. And this is from Affinity Data powered by Syntax, and it notes that the figures are rounded. But this shows Microsoft's revenue by product line in fiscal year 2023. So we see Microsoft Azure at $80 billion, Microsoft 365 at $49 billion, Windows 11, $22 billion, LinkedIn, $15 billion, Xbox, $15 billion, Copilot at $12 billion, when that was just a name for the AI-enabled search engine, and all others at $19 billion. And here are some snapshots and some screenshots from July 8th when I filmed this episode, and I took them from Google Finance. This shows what has happened in the past month. So we see as of July 8th, the stock was at $497.72, which was up 5.28% over the previous month. Here we have year to date, where the stock was up 18.08%. Going back the previous year, we see that the stock went up 6.75%. And here we have a snapshot of the past 5 years, where we see that the stock has gone up 132.94% in the previous 5 years. Here we have a SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is from the Strategic Management Insight. It lists weaknesses of Microsoft as number 1, poor acquisitions and investments. Number 2, dependence on hardware manufacturers. Number 3, criticism over security flaws. Number 4, a mature PC market. And number 5, slow to innovate. And it lists threats to include competition in software products, changing consumer needs and habits, open source projects, and potential lawsuits. And speaking of lawsuits, Microsoft has been sued multiple times in some high-profile cases. But one case I want to highlight is when Microsoft had a high-profile case against them over potential antitrust. US federal regulators sued Microsoft, which at the time was the world's leading software company. The Federal Trade Commission launched their investigation over the market share that Microsoft held in the personal computer market. They were trying to determine whether Microsoft had a monopoly or not. The Justice Department filed antitrust charges against the company. They found the issue to be how Microsoft bundled additional programs into their operating system that customers would only be able to use if they bought Microsoft Windows first. They believed Microsoft was making it very difficult to install software by other organizations on PCs that ran on Microsoft Windows. Also, they distributed the browser Internet Explorer for free, which drastically increased their market share, which led to the downfall of Netscape, which was the company's leading competitor at the time. The next chapter for Microsoft will be defined by how they integrate AI, artificial intelligence, into their operations. They aim to use AI to increase efficiency and innovation. The company will be focusing on 3 high-level priorities: security, service fundamentals, and corporate functions growth. Microsoft could extend its range of cloud services and software as the demand for cloud-based services is expanding. With a huge reserve of cash, Microsoft could acquire new startups that would bring new technology, skills, and competencies to the business. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella reaffirmed earlier this year his plan to spend $80 billion on AI data centers in 2025, mostly in connection with its OpenAI partnership and cloud computing division. Will Microsoft's continued investments in AI pay off for the tech giant? Only time will tell.